You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land where families actually get along. There's a signpost up ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, your next stop, the Brady Bunch.
We've got a big day coming up for us. I brought all kinds of toys along to share with you today. Oh, some of the best of clips that some of you might remember, like "Oh My Nose" and "Don't Play Ball" and the tiki and surfing. I have two of our cast members that are here that I'm going to be introducing in just a little bit. And well, for those of you that might be brave enough to try and learn the choreography to that song that we just sang, may give you a chance to come up here, dance with me, and become an honorary Brady for life. Okay, the first thing I want to do before I bring anybody out is to remind us of how we happen to be here. We are celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Brady's visit to Kings Island. Hang on a second. So, first thing I want to know, was anybody here when the Bradys were actually here? You were here?
My aunts were.
And your aunts were? Anybody else? How cool is that? And how many of you just watched it on television? Good. Yeah, just as a little reminder, let's take a look at the Bradys on our very first visit, the second year that Kings Island was open. The Bradys meet Kings Island and the Red Racer. Okay, now of all three Brady girls, who would you most like to meet right now? That's a good thing because she's here. Please welcome everyone, Susan Olsen. See, we haven't changed a bit. And neither have all of you. Well, welcome, Susan. We had a chance to go out and try the Red Racer again this morning, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
All clear? You guys are all clear and out of here. Sit up right, hold on tight, and enjoy your ride.
So we have another Brady mate here today, don't we, Susan?
Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm. Did anybody ever hear of the show My Fair Brady? I know, it was hard to watch. Fortunately, it's not in syndication. But the star of that show is here.
Yes, one of my other brothers, I have two brothers named Chris. One's biological, and this one is Christopher Knight.
Say hello, everybody. was the last time that you were here in person in Cincinnati?
39 years ago, 11 months and 5 days.
So this is your first return visit to Cincinnati since we've shot the show.
Yeah. And unfortunately, a lot of those memories are really deeply buried. So through smells and certain sights, some of it is coming back, and I'm sure we'll watch a little bit of it as well. I don't think I've watched that episode in 20 years. So this is all, for me, learning about my past through you.
Well, I will tell you this, it was absolutely amazing the first time when we were here. We were probably at the zenith of the first run popularity of the Brady Bunch, and we came here to Kings Island to do all the cool stuff, to ride all the rides. There was only one roller coaster at that time. Well, there were two because they were side by side. But I understand that the park has tripled in size since we were first here, so there's lots to get out there and see. And we had people and fans, a lot of them we put in our show because they happened to be standing there, and we'd use them as in background and things like that. And it was kind of a silly premise because Dad lost the plans again. It seemed like he was always doing it, but it really was fun. I'm sorry you missed it.
I have this vague recollection of having a crush on somebody. And unfortunately, when we come, and do shows like in location, there's a lot of work involved, and there's really no time to enjoy the park. And I'm afraid this weekend as well, I didn't have a chance to go to the park, though I wanted to today, but we're going to be doing a number of shows here tonight, or through this evening, so we won't be able to get back out in the park. But I have just a vague recollection, because it was like something that I couldn't really get to know the girl, because I was being called here and there. Probably somebody here in this crowd. No. If we asked how many people here, was anybody here at the park when we shot the show? Look at that! I bet that there would be some. Thank you for making it back.
Does anybody here remember the hot air balloon that used to take off over by the Eiffel Tower? Christopher and I got to go up and ride in that. That was a very exciting thing. And a beautiful view from about 400 feet of the entire. We have some of the clips, some of the most memorable and iconic moments from the show. And I would talk a little bit about the clips and how we got to making them. The one thing that was amazing about doing our show was the writers all wanted to use bits of our own real personalities and incorporate those into our characters. And so we can kind of find out who was the sweetest and the cutest and the nicest, and of course, the troublemaker. In our show, the troublemaker will happen to be Peter. Yeah. Now, just about everything that went wrong on our show, Peter was responsible for. You know what? Am I kidding?
No, I was the bent Brady.
That's right. Do you remember a little warning from Mom, and then reiterated by Bobby about
playing ball in the house?
About not playing ball in the house. Don't try that. Let's take a look.
Set up again. Big Pete Brady intercepts and goes for a shot. Oh no! Mom's favorite vase. She always says, "Don't play ball in the house."
One time, your entire personality, the whole thing, and you had to replace it with someone else's personality, and it turned out that you replaced it with like some legendary movie star. Who was that movie star?
Whom I had not seen at that point in my life in any movie. So I was doing an impersonation of somebody doing an impersonation.
And that person that he was impersonating was me. It's 4 times, and well, let's take a look.
Hey, Mom. Hi, Alice. Pork chops. Pork chops. Right? What else? Applesauce? Pork chops and applesauce. You get swell.
Good job, I think.
I have a question to ask you. Are the Bradys the only family to suffer from a little sibling rivalry? No. In our case, we had that same issue. Jan, I think, was always just a little bit envious of her older sister, and this is how that turned out.
Well, all I hear all day long in school is how great Marcia did this, or how wonderful Marcia did that. Marcia, Marcia, Marcia!
Uh-oh. We ran ahead. I was going to ask you who actually threw the football that broke Marcia's nose. Our troublemaker.
I was the cause.
Our troublemaker, right? So we after Janet expressed her feelings of misgivings about her older sister, we leveled the playing field when Bobby and Peter were outside in the backyard for a little football.
Hey, you guys.
That's the way it should have been shown. So when I edited it, I thought I'd just nail her a couple more times. Now, does this sound mean anything to anybody? If you ever hear that sound, get out of the water fast. Brady Bunch kids, on what I think was our most exciting excursion, went to fun. All except for the bad luck teeth, dog. Brought us a tarantula on your arm, threw Alice's hip out, and a serious wipeout in Hawaii. Let's take a look.
That you had to wear a suit at one point. Suit that fit, but I guess in the end didn't fit. Are you keeping the Johnny Bravo spirit alive?
I know my best. Do you remember how that episode started? We were doing.
I have no clue, because I've already set up that I have no memory.
It was the 70s, you were not there. We had a contest. It was an amateur sing-off contest. Well, I've got it here. See if you remember this song. Hit it, boys. Probably you can notice here, there are a couple of us Brady kids that are missing, as in 3. And so, why don't you take a couple of minutes and kind of fill you in on Maureen McCormick, Marcia, Plum, Jan, and Michael Lookinland. Maureen...
well, they're not here, so we can make all kinds of stuff up.
Troublemaker. I didn't make this. That part I got. Maureen's all grown up, and she has an all-grown-up daughter. She is married, has been happily married for 23 years. Her daughter is 21, lives in California, and she devotes a great deal of her time to a wonderful charity that helps people in the Special Olympics that are mentally and physically challenged, and has a daughter that looks just like she did in the day. She is.
And her nose is fine.
Why don't you tell them a little bit about Mike?
Oh, Mike Lookinland, who was with me 5 years ago in this wonderful park. He has a beautiful family and has been married for like 25, oh my gosh, maybe 30 years.
And 2 kids.
So his 2 kids, Scotty and Joey, and they're grown up now. And his wife Kelly, and well, now he turned into Eve. But Mike has his own business. He does designer concrete, like countertops and
Public concrete for kitchen countertops, coffee tables, all kinds of
bathtubs. It's called Just Add Water.
Yeah. Can you imagine his mailing bill? Yeah, ship the cement sink over to pretty incredible.
He did it to us.
Yay! Another satisfied customer.
Yeah, Eve Plum, who remains a good friend of us. In fact, we all had dinner together just 6 weeks ago. Together, we remain good friends, even though Eve is not particularly partial to talking about the Brady Bunch. She lives in New York now. She's married. She has no children, and she is, among other things, a wonderfully talented artist. And if we could kill these lights, I'd love to show that picture again, because this behind her are examples of her artwork. You can see up there. That's a hand painting by her, and that's what she looks like today. Not bad, huh? Yes, shout. Do we see Alice anymore? Well, the question is, how is Alice doing, right?
It was her birthday just like a week ago.
89?
Yes.
89 years old, San Antonio, Texas. She's doing great. Christopher, what was your favorite show to be on? Do you mean episode of the Brady Bunch? Yes, favorite episode.
Kings Island.
Troublemaker.
Actually, any of the shows that we were able to go on location with. So Hawaii, Grand Canyon, Kings Island.
It was nice to get out of the studio. We spent our summers inside a sound stage, and even our outside on that stage was still inside. We had AstroTurf.
Bad.
Adios, Johnny Bravo for me. We have time for 2 more. Yes, ma'am. What happened to the first Mr. Phillips? That would be, I think you're referring to Carol's...
Mike's boss.
Mike's boss.
Mike's boss.
At the end, it ended up being Mr. Howell from Gilligan's Island.
I am so glad you asked that question. I'll tell you why. Because I love when people ask me a question I cannot answer. I have no clue.
I think that they forgot that they had already cast the role, and then recast it.
Accidentally.
Yeah. Just like they forgot Mike Brady's middle name from the original show, and then when we did a show called The Bradys, they gave him a new middle name, and all the public was way too smart for that.
You know, just like us, when we're asked these questions about, you know, our lives back then, at the time we were doing it, we had no idea that it was going to be sort of so fundamental for the rest of our lives. So it wasn't like we were placing extra attention on making sure we could remember that moment. Certainly over 5 years, a lot of moments. But in shows that are going to go on in sort of a perpetuity, they have what they call a Bible, where they write these things down because they might call it back later. But in a show like ours, there was no Bible, so that no one really thought that knowing, you know, Mike Brady's middle name was going to be an issue in the future. They didn't have anything to go back to quickly to recall. It's just the nature of the industry. So no one thinks you're going to be doing things that hard.
Except she has a
I knew what it was because...
photogenic memory.
Picture that, Susan.
Because Bobby Reed played Michael Paul Brady, okay? Michael Lookinland played Bobby Brady, and his middle name is Paul as well. Okay. Get it? Yeah. Michael Paul and Michael Paul.
Time for one more question. Yes.
How is Oliver?
He's wonderful.
Bobby Risk. Remember Cousin Oliver? I threw him off a cliff.
Right now, he's in a band that I'm going to be seeing in a couple of weeks. It's called the Undead Kennedys.
He's doing great. He's a rock and roller. He has 3 shades of hair. He's a very funny man. And we were also with him a couple of months ago. But he's doing great. Lives in LA, and he plays in cover bands, lots of them. He's a very accomplished, all-around musician. Bass player, guitar player. He's a drummer, and if he puts on the glasses, he still looks like John Denver. Florence is doing great. She lives in Marina Del Rey, still very active. She's a spokesperson for all kinds of things, even things that she doesn't use, like denture cream. Wonderful lady. We're very, very friendly, all very friendly with her, and we're planning a Brady convention next August in New Jersey, and attempting to bring everyone together. And so I'm going to look for that Facebook. It's that time. Now, there were only 4 steps that the Bradys actually ever learned. That was one of them. That was one of them. This is one of them. And this is one of them. Okay. So, I don't know exactly how many people we can fit, but if you would like to raise your hand and come up and learn a little Brady choreography, come on, sweet you. All 4 of you in the back. 4 of you here. Come on up. I've got the lyrics up on the screen for you. If you can see it, please sing along. So terrific. I would like to now make you, each and every one of you, honorary Bradys for life.
Now that it's 3 times bigger, how long do you think it would take you to get the plans from one end of the park to the other? Now that it's
bigger, we're faster.
We are. And we've got the whole relay thing worked out. You know, on the show we were running 2 people with the plans. Now we just do one at a time. I'm going to say 52 seconds.